He always looked creepy as fuck anyways.
All right, we're live, my man. Let's get this party started here in a minute. I'll let you go ahead and lead the way, my friend.
We're on?
Yeah, we're live. We're good.
I don't see it on my Facebook page.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I'm pulling it up too here, so I'll check out do the best I can while we're sharing this info to keep track of the comments.
Oh.
Give it a couple minutes before we get started. Let some folks join in.
You can't see me on the video.
Yeah, I can see just you.
Okay, well, it looks like we're running. So, well, let's get this party started, guys. Welcome, whoever's out there. Welcome, those out there taking your time out of your busy schedule to join the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance. I'm Doc Rannigan. I'm here with Black Level, Jeff Skinner. And today is our topic of discussion is brand. What is your brand? Understanding your brand. Obviously, you can see the different logos, the different brandings that people use out there. You guys recognize several of those brands out there. They're near and dear to several people's not only hearts, but their pocketbooks. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Davidson, you know us. Branding, it's one of the most important aspects of any business out there. Large, small, retail, business to business. It tells, your brand should tell your clients, your consumers, your friends, your family, who you are, what you're about, what makes you different from all of your other competitors in the industry. Branding is crucial to scaling up your company, scaling your business, and becoming a long-lasting impression for many, many years to come. So we can look forward to understanding some of those businesses, and as we continue through these slides, we'll kind of key in on some of those businesses out there. As you can see, we'll go right here, Amazon. Who doesn't know about Amazon? I think I just ordered from Amazon yesterday. I think the majority of our monies right now is going towards Amazon. You have Amazon Prime. A brand for your company is like a reputation for a person. You earn your reputation by trying to do the hard things well. And I'm going to tell you what, folks, doing the hard things well is what separates me from my competition. It's what separates Amazon from their competition. It's what separates Black Level from their competition. If you're not standing apart, if you're not tackling adversity right in its face, if you're not willing to sacrifice during the hard times and continue to push through, then your brand is not going to last. As you can see here on this slide, Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage. I have no idea what he was doing in that garage, but I know he started something great. He has
started selling books, actually, Doc. That's his initial investment was into purchasing books and reselling paperback and hard copy books. And if you look at this right here, $140 billion is his net worth now. So for all of you guys and girls out there, ladies and gentlemen, however you want to put it, that are holding off on starting your business or scared to do it, man, just look at this number right here. The dude started in his garage, bro. You know what I mean? $140 billion. I can't even fathom that kind of money. So
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. It's more money than he knows what to do with it. I guarantee.
yeah,
But what we really need to understand is what makes that brand great, right? What makes your brand be different than all the other brands out there? How are you going to separate yourself from your competition? And one of the most important things is be genuine, be authentic. Don't try and reinvent the wheel, but also don't copy and paste either. You know what I mean? Create a brand that you're going to believe in, that you can get behind, and ensure there's a valid story behind your brand. So when people ask you, man, why'd you name your company that? How come you're doing it this way? Well, there should be a story. There should be a reason behind that you're behind, and creating that information and creating that brand. So people, when they think of you, they think of your brand first. They know that you're a genuine person. Be meaningful behind your brand. Understand that when your brand has meaning, that when it has impact, that when somebody reads your name, they say, you know what? I know what I'm going to get every single time. I may not be the cheapest guy around, but damn it, I promise you, I'm going to create and provide for you above and beyond your expectations.
yeah,
Right.
you gotta have a clear promise too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Have a clear promise, have a clear message. Don't quote somebody, hey, I'll do this job for 500 bucks. You get dead off into it. Next thing you know, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you it's now $7,000. You know what I mean? Don't be true to what you are. If you underbid a job, or you you told somebody one price and you failed to meet your price, don't go back. That's not your home. That's not your client's fault. That is your fault for not understanding the project all the way through. Be different. And when I'm saying be different, don't be different so much where you're just kind of like a clown and you don't look like what you're doing. You just want to be so obnoxious and crazy that you're different. We're talking about be different, being true to your word, being true to your brand, being true to yourself. That's what I'm talking about, being different. Consistency is huge. I can't tell you enough. If you have a system, stick to your system. Don't deviate from your system. If you have a pricing structure, don't deviate from your pricing structure. You know, I get it. Some people love to help people out, your friends, your family. But the problem is those are sometimes your worst clients are your friends and your family.
Yeah.
They're the one. Shit, you laugh. I mean, that is the god awful truth. You know, everybody wants a hookup. Give me my homeboy hookup. You know, and I get it. We're allowed to do those things, but what we want to stay cognizant is don't be consistently giving people a discount. Be like, oh well, my friend said you got it to him for this much. Now you're charging me that much. We have a business to run. I didn't create a company to give away the money. I created a business so I can become successful, so that I can help other people become successful.
It goes back to your processes, right? What we were talking about last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. So again, the brand is the promise you put out there, and then the experience you deliver. You look at Jeff, and somebody comes out there and he's like, man, I want to have the most killer audio, video, sound system in my home. And my expectation was, oh, cool, come in. He's going to slap up a couple of speakers. He's going to put a TV on a wall, and bingo, bango, we're done. Hell no. When I've heard people come back and say, wow, this dude delivered way more than I ever even expected. No wires showing, clean, crisp sound. You know what I mean? And if he has an issue and the client calls him up with it, he's the first one to get back out there and make it right. And Absolutely. That's what branding is. Doing the things that suck consistently and overcoming those objections so that you can create that value.
Well, the big thing with that too, right, is now that you've established that brand, not only your logo, the characteristic of who you are, but also what I like to call the action phase, which is where you're executing the project. You know, at the end of the day, and we'll go into this later in the slide, but that brand should tell your people, your clients, your future clients who you are, right? So we all know that with Doc's Roofing, hey man, you strip it down to the wood, every single roof, no compromise, right? I mean, that brand speaks for itself. So I'll let you continue, but adding to that, you know, your target audience and your engagement. I mean, I don't think you I don't think you can have a brand unless you do the work to put in who you're branding to. Correct? Would you?
That's right.
Yeah.
And like it's different in my industry, right? You do have a target audience, and my target audience isn't somebody who always wants the cheapest. I I will not do business with somebody who's like, well, give me an estimate, and if you beat everybody else, I'll hire you.
Yeah.
That right there leads me to believe that if I do the job, you're probably not going to pay me. You're going to stiff me because you're cheap. You know what I mean? So I'm talking to people that don't mind spending the money to get value out of the product that I'm providing. You know, so I understand who I'm looking for. I understand the level of people that I want to deal with, and I stray away from those that want cheap, fast, and quick. I don't want
Those are your best clients, right?
yeah, let's line them up, right? Just line them up.
Those are
So,
my favorite ones.
so just how did, so some people have asked me, you know, Doc, how'd you come up with this brand? How come, why did you name it Doc's Roofing? What's the story behind it? And, you know, I thought long and hard on what I wanted to name a roofing company. So I wanted to be clear in my message, clear in my company name, Doc's Roofing. And so Doc's, I'll just read this real quick. Doc's Roofing is named based on the love of helping others, right? That's why when I joined the military, when I joined the Navy, I said, make me a corpsman. I want to be in the medical field. I want to help other people out. That was embedded to me as a kid. My mom was a nurse. So that just trickled down to me. And I always have a passion for helping other people. So as a corpsman, I love taking care of my Marines, no matter how dumb or whatever bonehead shit that they did. It was all good because I enjoy the most radical things that they would do. And I would have the opportunity to take care of these knuckleheads. Yeah. So now I took that same mentality, right? And I helped them homeowners protect the biggest asset that they've ever invested in. I mean, this is the largest purchase. My home is the largest purchase I've ever made in my life, right? And so I want, and more than likely it's the largest purchase that anybody out there has made in their life is your home. And so I want to treat your home just like I want to treat my home. And I want to treat you the same way I want to be treated if somebody was trying to sell me a product or a service. So my little claim to fame is like, well, if you go to the doc to get your leg fixed, you might as well call the doc to get your roof fixed. So it's more of a play on words.
What's your tagline?
Huh?
What's your tagline?
Not your average roofer.
The other one, the good one.
Oh, yeah. You go to the doc to get your leg fixed. You might as well call the doc to get your roof fixed.
But if you love America, you'll love Doc's Roofing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, if you love America, you're going to love Doc's Roofing, right? So because there's a lot of pride behind it. There's a lot of history with me. Like being called a doc is earned. It's not given, right? There's a lot of Navy corpsmen that joined to become a corpsman, but they never reached the level of serving with the Marines. It is a choice. It is hell bent, and to be allowed into that company of the Marines is earned. And even when I first joined with my unit, I wasn't accepted right off the bat. I was hazed. I was treated like shit. And, you know, I had to earn my keep. You know what I mean? I'm a Navy guy stepping into the world of a Marines. And so when I named my company Doc's Roofing, I took that pride with me. When I took the Hippocratic Oath, becoming a corpsman and being in the medical field, that took that with me. That is embedded with my mentality. That is embedded with my daily life. I'm a giver, naturally giver. My wife hates it about that, but I'm the kind of guy that will give and not expect anything back. I'm a firm believer. If I let somebody have money, I don't expect that money back to me unless they want to return it to me as a favor. So my brand is the world to me. I live it and I breathe it daily. I love it. I think it's a unique name, and it speaks volume to my clients. They understand. They see the medical symbol behind it. They see the American flag behind it, which means I love to help people, and I'm a true patriot, and I love America, and I love to do roofs. What about you, Jeff? Why did you come up with Black Level?
You know, I get asked that often, man. And when I sat down and started to visualize owning a business and knowing that I had as many years as I had in the AV industry, I always told myself, man, people should get a little bit more creative with their names, because you know, so-and-so's home automation or Joe's AV company, like you see down here in my little script here. I didn't want to be the average Joe. I didn't want to just be that person. So, you know, I took mine a little step further and I built mine off of the basis of actually the audio visual industry. So, you know, you'll read here on this slide that, you know, if you put just colors on the screen, whether that's a projector or a TV or whatever, they're going to blur together because at the end of the day, red, green, and blue are the only real three colors that make up your picture image no matter what. But what really makes the colors stand out and pop is the black levels. And not a lot of people know that about a picture. So, you know, I've talked to a few different people and I had some people try to come up with a logo and a brand for me. And I just ended up making this up by myself. And by happenstance, Black Level AV was the brand that I knew I could put on shirts, hats, I could wrap my vehicle. And the biggest thing that I wanted to happen with my brand is I wanted people to see that and say, what is that? Because anybody can see so-and-so's electronics or so-and-so's home audio visual, blah, blah, blah. But I want to be rolling down the street in my truck that's wrapped with my brand. And I want people to take a picture of that because they don't know what I am. But then they come to find out that I've done projects for half a dozen or so of their friends. So my brand specifically came from the details of within the AV industry itself. So, you know, it was going to be a couple different wordings and a couple different things, but, you know, I knew when I started the company and I started doing my business plan and I started targeting my market and doing all this research before I did anything, that my brand and my relationships is what was going to carry my business forward no matter what. So that's the simple skinny of it. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, man, I think if you don't have a brand that sticks out, you're just going to get lost in the sea of other people in the industry.
Yeah, I love the fact that you say, you know, it does drive curiosity, you know, that piques people's interest. Black Level, what's that mean? When we were talking about the name of his company, I kind of gave him my 2 cents on why Black Level. I was like, oh, when I heard Black Level, I thought that you blacked out everything. It looked clean, it looked clear, it looked precise, everything was level. And he was like, no, bro, this is not anything about it. So I was like, well, shit, well, enlighten me. And so we had a conversation on where he came from and why he named it that. And that totally makes a lot more sense. I actually learned a thing or two about how the colors line up in your TV in order to give you that picture that you're looking for, that high resolution, that quality.
Absolutely.
You know, that 4D, whatever the shit they come out with all the time, how important it is to fully understand that. I mean, it's extreme. The amount of knowledge this man knows about the audio video world and the back scenes, right, of how things operate is just baffling to me. And I just had no idea the amount of components that followed suit with that. So
let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this, though, Doc. Isn't understanding your industry and understanding your business part of your branding?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. If you don't know what you're selling, then your brand's weak. Yeah. If you can't convey to your target audience, if you can't convey to your people what you're about, what you're trying to do, and then your brand is lost in the sauce, just like you stated. And that brings us great. Who are you? Right? If you don't know what service you're providing, like I tell people, I am not a jack of all trades. Don't call me about painting your house. I am not a painter. You know what I mean? Don't call me, hey man, my toilet's leaking. Well, that's kind of not my gig. And I would be shy away from those people, those companies that say, hey, I'm a plumber, electrician, a roofer, a gardener, a fence man, a this, a that, and the other. And by the way, I'll do your taxes too, right? Like that's not the way I work. That's not a way any company should work. You should focus on what your product is. You should be an expert in your industry, expert in your knowledge, and understand what your product is so that when you get hit with questions, you're not saying, hold on, let me call somebody. Hold on, let me Google that, right? Because that doesn't make you an expert. That makes you inexperienced, and that makes you and don't take this the hard way, that makes you kind of one of those tote the note used carsman salesmen who will tell you anything to get you in the seat. Right? They will lie to you straight to your face just so they can get you to buy something.
That's a cutthroat industry right there.
And that's right here. One reason most entrepreneurs fail to evolve their business into a brand is because money is more important than their brand. Most entrepreneurs will say anything you want to hear just so you like them and hopefully buy their products. I am not a money driven individual. I did not create two different companies to only chase the dollar bill, right? I created these two companies that I'm a part of so that I can build relationships, so that I can build a passive stream of revenue, so that I can create a legacy for my children to be able to follow up with. So when they're wondering what they want to be when they grow up, we have provided 2, 3, 4 different avenues that they can go down so that they can make it become successful just like their parents were. So it's insane. I love this next line about it takes guts to be a brand. Live your brand, own your brand. It takes intestinal fortitude to stand up for what you believe in when it's not popular. And I get this all the time. Hey man, what about, can you do this and just not tell somebody? I'm like, no, I can't. Right. So I have to be that kind of guy to do the right thing, even when nobody's looking. I know that sounds cliche as hell. Right. But if I start doing things wrong and being shady, that's going to bleed over into my business, which is going to bleed over into my brand. And it just takes one person to let that cat out of the bag. Hey, don't worry, call Doug, man. He's got you covered. He'll look the other way. You know what I mean?
No.
On my drug testing side of the house, I can't tell you how many times I've been offered money so that people could pass their drug test so they can be employed. You know what I mean? Like they put me in a really tough spot, and it's crazy. I know, Jeff, you probably don't run into that very often in your industry, but in the drug testing industry, it is crazy. The amount of, I was offered $1,000 so that I could tell their employer that this guy was good to go. I'm like, bro, if you got $1,000 to bleed out, just stop doing drugs.
Yeah. I can relate to that in some areas, and not necessarily with the piss testing thing, because that's a whole nother world. But, I have had people approach me as if I wasn't running a business, but I was doing this for a hobby. Like, hey, I'll trade you X, Y, and Z for X, Y, and Z, or, can I pay you under the table? And I have to stop and I tell them, everything Black Level AV is completely segregated from Jeff Skinner's family for great reasons. And that's a whole nother topic we can discuss on another day, but there's liability reasons there. There's things I don't do. Hey, one thing is electrical. We partner with Daniel Daly with Assured Electrical all the time to make sure that we have a licensed electrician doing our electrical work, because I'm not a licensed electrician. So yeah, I've been approached for some shady business, and you know what? I've told clients to go find somebody else because I just won't do business that way. And that's exactly understanding who you are and what kind of reflection that is on your brand. Right.
And oftentimes we don't want those clients anyways,
Nope.
Because something's going to go wrong and then they're going to blame you. Right. Yeah. So how do you build a brand? Like, it's tough. How do you build that brand? How do you continue to elevate your brand over a period of time? And building your brand starts with a solid foundation, right? If you have a business plan and your brand is associated with your business plan, it should be embedded throughout the whole process of your business plan. It should include your mission. It should include your vision, your values, your ethics, what your expectations are of your employees. So the bigger you want your brand to be, the stronger your foundation must be. And that's why people say when you start your business, get with the lawyer, get with the CPA, outsource those things that are going to be crucial to your company in the beginning, so that 1, 2, 3 years down the road, you're not chasing your tail going, oh shit, I wish I would have done this in the beginning. So you must create a solid foundation for your company so that your brand can weather any storm that it comes involved with. And right now is a prime example of what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
During this stay-at-home quarantine, COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, I got a virus, you got a virus, we got a virus shitstorm. My brand has allowed me to continue to grow, not only in the roofing industry, but in the drug testing industry, because people trusted me. I've built the relationships in the past so that now when something did happen, that I have enough trust built with inside of a community, and that people still call upon me for my services. I'm not just some guy who popped up out of nowhere and say, hey, we like to call him Chuck in a truck, right? Or eating a pickup. You know what I mean? So we have to fully understand that when you have a solid foundation, when you start your business, your brand must comply with all of the reasons you wanted to go in business for yourself in the first place.
Doc, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but I think this is a good segue into this next slide we've had up for a couple of seconds here. And I would hope that people that are watching this or share this video or whatever have done or asked themselves most of these questions. And we're going to pinpoint a few of these questions and kind of dig into a couple of them. But, you know, your vision statement, which is the first one, is like, what do you do? If you're having trouble creating a brand for yourself, it's a very simple question. Now, that simple question has a ton of details in it. I have a 3-ring binder here that has my business plan in it. That took me months to write. You know what I mean? So, but the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what do you do? What is exactly your vision in your business? You know, I mean, without a vision, it's like going on a road trip without a map. You don't know where you're going.
Yeah. I mean, I can't call Siri and ask her what my vision is. Hey, Siri. Hey, Google, right? Oh, shit. Just started talking to me.
Careful saying her name, man. She'll come up.
Yeah, don't do it. That's the FBI, folks. So your vision statement, right? Let's talk a little bit about that vision statement. My vision is to provide the best quality service to my clients without failure, right? That is my vision. My vision is to grow and to become one of the leading roofing companies in the DFW Metroplex. So I have a very large vision. And the only way I'm able to accomplish that vision is to be having a foundation with solid systems, having understanding that my brand relates to that vision. And all three of these things have to correlate. They all have to run in unison. Your vision, mission, and values should all run parallel with each other and become seamless and integrate with your brand.
Your vision statement, though, your vision statement should be the anchor.
Absolutely.
It should be the anchor that really kind of outlines your whole strategic plan. Because without a vision statement, without a map, you're going to go on a road trip and get lost around every turn, which goes back to what you were saying, weathering the storm, right? You really want to weather the storm and continue to have your brand carry forward and keep your pipeline full. You got to have that anchor. You got to have that vision statement, and that vision will change. Mine has changed. I've been in business. Absolutely. This is my 3rd year. Doc's been in business for way longer than me, but my vision has changed. And I'll give you an example. I would hang any TV possible the first 12 months I was in business. The next 12 months in business, I started focusing on control and automation, which I have years of experience with. This year, my vision has changed to see custom home builders and motorized shade systems, which gets me in with interior designers. So have that anchor, but also be able to change that vision and adapt and overcome.
Yeah. Your vision should be fluid.
Yeah.
But yet you shouldn't have tunnel vision, right? Your vision should look like a megaphone, right? Where the hole starts out small, but as you continue through that megaphone, it opens up and becomes broader and larger so that it allows your company to continue to grow. When I started the roofing company, all I did was roofs. Now I do roofs and gutters. Now I do roofs, gutters, and fence. You know what I mean? So my vision and the portfolio has grown drastically. And over the next 6 months, I hope to be able to implement one more aspect to the company, which is spray foam insulation for attics. So because I'm trying to include the many different facets of a home that are actually underneath your roof. And so if you get a contractor that is almost like a one-stop shop, it not only helps the homeowner, but it helps the business as well when you help diversify your vision. But ultimately, your vision is going to stay true from what it always was, which is customers first, integrity before profit, so on and so forth. So, but you're allowed to add to your vision as you create and grow your brand.
Yeah, I guess that, when you identify the vision in your mission statement, which is the key points within your values there, the next question you got to ask is, and these second two bullet points here kind of go together. What do you want to achieve in your business, but then what gets you up in the morning? You can almost tie those together, right? I've
Sure.
always been a self-motivator. I've never needed someone to tell me, get your ass out of bed and get to work. Hard work and is the only thing I've ever known. It's how I've built everything I'm all about, and I can see that in you too. I mean, shoot, we've known each other for 20 something years now. You know what I mean? So, the question of what do you want to achieve in your business? I always tell myself when I'm sitting down and looking at my war board, what am I trying to accomplish in chunks of time that are, reasonable goals. If you set out and say, it's great, you want to make $5 million. Okay, that's great. How do you get to $5 million? Now that's the question, right? Reasonable goals that are achievable throughout time, you'll make $5 million.
Absolutely. So whenever I try to figure out what I want to achieve in my business, I created a vision board. That helped me to gain clarity. I'm pointing at my vision board though, so you guys can't see it, but it's right there so that I see it every single day and I understand. I can go in, I can look at it and I can say, okay, what am I failing at? What am I exceeding at? How do I need to get better at it? So what I want to achieve in my business is not only do I want to grow my income, but I also want to grow my staff. I want to grow into different locations. I want to be able to be an industry leader in the roofing industry. So that's what gets me up in the morning. When I write down what I call SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, I'm able to figure out that's what's getting me up in the morning. Okay, what am I going to do today that I did yesterday that I can do better today? If I only talked to 5 people yesterday, well, damn it, I probably need to talk to 10 people so that I can achieve what I want to achieve that I have set forth, right? So when I set up those goals or I set up what I want to accomplish, I don't just set it up for 1 week. I have to break it down. He stated, man, I want to make $5 million. Well, man, that's a huge number. And how do you make $5 million? Well, we break it down. If I make $10,000 today and I do it again tomorrow, then that's how I'm going to get to that $5 million mark. So we just take, what's the analogy, right? It's how do you eat an elephant? And it's
one bite at a time.
One bite at a time, right? You got to start somewhere. And so if you want to hit $5 million, well, we need to do X amount of work to get to make X amount of dollars so that we can make that $5 million. And depending on how soon you want to get there, is going to tell you how many, that's going to dictate what gets you up in that morning. So
I want to jump to one right here at the bottom because, obviously we want to ask ourselves, have we failed and have we learned? And I think you talked about it in our first episode 3 weeks ago. So we covered that one, but the one that sticks out to me, because it seems to me that a lot of folks forget this, is what is the problem you want to solve? What is the issue you have a solution for that your brand and your company is going to provide to that client? Because at the end of the day, if you're there, you're trustworthy, you have integrity, and you could solve a problem for a client. I mean, as an end user, as a consumer who buys things from people, I want to know someone that I'm paying, even if it's good money, great money, little money, is going to solve that problem. And I'm willing to pay good money for problem solvers because, you've probably seen this on Facebook or you've seen the memes about it or whatever, but, you're paying me what you pay me because I have 20 something years of experience to come in and fix that problem in 5 minutes. But if you pay the cheap guy, he's going to be at your house for 6 days trying to fix that problem, right? So you really need to truly ask yourself, with your vision statement, with your mission statement, the next big one, I think, is what is the problem you're going to solve for your clients?
Hey, so that brings me into a little story time. A homeowner reached out to me and was like, hey, we have some missing shingles. I've talked to 4 different roofing companies. All 4 roofing companies told me I need a full roof replacement. So they've gotten me to go and contact my insurance. Insurance comes out and says, no, I don't need a roof replacement. Her problem was she had missing shingles blown off her roof. All she wanted was somebody just to get up there, do the damn job, and get her back to normal. Not upsell her, not take advantage of her, not create this whole scare, fear-based thing. Oh my gosh, the roof's caving in on you. So that's what we did. And she told me that up front. I said, look, I promise you, all we're going to do, we're going to do what you ask. We're going to give you a good price on it, and we're going to do the job. And so we went out there today. We provided the service. We repaired her shingles. And she goes, you know what? I can't thank you enough. You didn't try to upsell me. You didn't try to do anything. You did what you told me we were going to do at a great value. And they were very appreciative. So if you actually sit back and just listen to what your client's problems are, you're able to solve those problems for your client and not try to upsell them. Oftentimes they're going to upsell themselves just by sitting back and listening and going, oh man, I saw my friend have this. Can you do that? Most people talk themselves into being upsold.
Yeah.
And we just provide it. But if we're constantly talking to hear ourselves listen, then you're never going to understand the full problem that your clients have.
Some of my biggest clients, and when I say biggest, I mean like most complex projects. You know, I have clients that just have a TV on a patio, and then I have clients with a dozen audio zones and control for automation and the whole deal. Some of my biggest clients have been phase clients, is what I call them. So walking in, focusing on the immediate need, because I'm actually listening to what they want. And then I'm responding by providing the scope of work. Some of them are the biggest clients I've had because they come back to you because now they trust you, the brand. They trust you as a person. And then in the interim of all that, they've had these friends of theirs say, wow, we use Jeff too, or hey, we use Doc too, or hey, Aaron came by our house with Docs and he was amazing. You know what I mean? So that brand that you're building should eventually speak for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because word of mouth is what's going to make you or break you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If you're out there being shady, I promise you, you may get away with it a handful of times, but sooner or later, it's going to catch up to you, and you're going to reap what you sow. You can either sow fields of joy and love and promise, and that's what you're going to receive back, or you can sow full of lies and deceit and fear-based selling. And you're not going to last. You're going to get chewed up, spit out, and you're going to look back on the, 1, 2, 3 years down the road and go, why did I fail? What happened? Where did I go wrong yet? And what you did was you cut corners. You weren't willing to put in the hard work in the beginning so that you can reap the benefits 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, right? I want to be able to pass on these businesses to my children so that they benefit from it. But if I'm out here cutting corners, I mean, I'm not going to last anything. My children are going to look at me and say, damn, Dad, what did you do?
And that's what I was about to say. I didn't mean to step on your toes. This whole like streaming thing is I like sitting in a room with you better, to be honest with you. But, when you talk about building your legacy, this is something that I moved back home, just so all you guys and gals know. I'm a Texan. I grew up here. I'm not a Californian. So let's get that straight first and foremost. When I moved back home,
I graduated high school with him. So therefore I got your back on that, man.
So when I moved back home, if you recall, I was still working for a company out of San Diego in some shithole office. The roof tiles are falling down. And this was about 5 years ago. And I think one of the first things you asked me after being in the same room for 10 minutes was, why haven't you started your own business, man? And it took me a couple of years to really wrap my head around that. But, talking with guys like you, talking with guys like Casey and some of these other people we like to call mentors, they all go back to one simple thing, is building a brand that people can trust. So if you're in a position right now where you've been in business for a while and you're having issues with continuing to get through these times, you may want to refocus your initiatives right now and really understand who your business is and start by some of these here where we're talking about, don't worry about money, worry about your brand, right? And live your brand. Man, if you see me around town, you see Doc, you see Aaron running around town, man, we're always repping our company. Hats, shirts, trucks. I mean, the whole thing, because you have to live it. If you don't live it, are you really about it?
Yeah, you don't believe in yourself. If you're not proud of your brand and you're not proud to get out there in front of people with who you are, what you're about, then what's the point? You keep mentioning Aaron, and I'll tell you a funny story, right? So we had a roofing company contact my drug testing company to go do some testing for them. And I said, "Hey, Aaron, you want to come in and join in?" And he's like, "Yeah, no big deal." So we show up. Don't let this knucklehead show up in all out Doc's Roofing at one of our biggest competitors of another roofing company. And I'm like, "Bro, what are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing, Mike." He goes, "I'm your guy. I'm your brand. I'm your this. I love it." And he goes, "I don't care where I go." And that meant the world to me. Like real talk. I was super pumped, and like that's ballsy, right?
Yeah.
To roll up into your competition and get paid by your competition for another service and be repping your company's gear. So that dude's got no fear, and I love him. I love him being a part of the team.
Yeah.
He's shown me things about the way he operates, and he's just helped me taking myself to another level and giving me some certain drive that I needed. So this dude loves it, and you got to love it, own it, live it. I mean, I can't say that enough. If you're going to go into business and you're going to create a band, you better own that shit, because if you don't, it will own you. You will be wondering where your money's at. You will get a flood in your business cash flow, and you won't be able to stop it because you don't know what to do.
That's it. I think that wraps us up, brother.
Yeah, man. I think this was a great deal. If anybody out there watching, please share this. We're going to be doing this every single Thursday at 5:00. We want to grow this audience. We want to hit some lives. We want to boost our numbers up. We really appreciate all those that consistently come in and listen to us run our stuck about stuff we think we know about. But we really want to continue to grow our Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance. This goes out to patriots, anybody out there. I mean, the knowledge that we're putting out there, this isn't something that me and Jeff just come up with. I mean, we read books, we talk to other people that do greater things, that have been in business longer than us, and we've made the same mistake. So we are sharing our experiences with you guys. We are putting our heart out there to let you know that you guys can do it, and be willing to take those risks on yourself so that you can benefit it long term from now.
That's it.
I appreciate you guys attending. Thanks, Jeff, for getting this set up. We look forward to doing this again next Thursday.
Yeah, and then I'll close with this last thing, Doc. You obviously put the fire in this, and we appreciate you for getting this ball rolling 3 weeks ago. But the last thing I'll say is, if you're a small business that you want to get in on some of this information and this knowledge that we're passing, and you have some good knowledge, or you have a good topic that we're looking forward, we're all up for it. Reach out to Mike, reach out to myself, find an RVBA member like Casey that's out there. I mean, right now we're over 100 something members, I believe. So if you want to get involved with the RVBA, veteran or patriot or not, we're here. We want you involved, and we'd love to have you. So y'all have a good evening, and we appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Are we live still?